Now, the tips comes with disclaimer. Definitely, I'm not the examiner. I'm not the one setting the paper. But yes, in terms of my experience and what have come in the recent papers or what's happening around AAA, I can just give you my probabilities. Now, again, these tips are not a substitute of covering the full syllabus. You need to cover the full syllabus. You need to read articles. You need to do practice. The tips doesn't mean, okay, I'll just be doing this in the last 3 weeks and that is it. No, it is not a substitute of the complete 100% syllabus. Tips is just for a final revision. Tips is just to focus your time on. But tips doesn't mean that in the next 3 weeks, I'll just be looking at the tips and I'll be ignoring my syllabus. No, not at all. I hope the disclaimer is heard loud and clear by all of you. Okay, some of the tips with recent scenarios. Number one, definitely the new article around ISSA 5000 exposure draft, which I even discussed on the day 3 of this webinar, holds importance along with the two articles I mentioned on the day 3 of this webinar around assurance on social, environmental, and sustainability information, because these two articles on assurance, social, and environmental information and the ISSA 5000 exposure draft itself is on sustainability assurance. There is a lot of a synchronization between these three articles, and these hold importance for the upcoming exam. Knowledge from ISSA 5000, any application from ISSA 5000, as I guided you on the day 3. I even recommended one question on day 3. So if anyone missed that out, please go down and watch the day 3, but that is important. Quality management continues to hold importance. We did discuss that on day 1. There are still a lot of exam focus in both quality management articles, which could turn potential for March 24 exams. I discussed that on day 1. I shown you the exam focus within the quality management part 1 article and the part 2 article. Some of that exam focus has already been tested. You can see repetition of the quality management questions which comes in the past paper, which is quite possible. You might see something new coming out of the quality management in view of the exam focus given in the article for quality management. So if anyone is not reading the article, is unaware of the exam focus, you're calling yourself into disastrous position. So on the day 1, I emphasized on the article. I have shown you the exam focus from both the articles. I hope you remember that. And if you've not watched the day 1, please ensure you do watch it. Quality management continues to be important. Number 3, a question around going concern. The question around going concern with matters and reporting implications like MURGC and evidence in working paper file. If you've seen the typical questions on going concern, I did address this on the day 2 of the webinar, that from the syllabus area E, you do get a question on going concern where you need to investigate the matters which raise doubt on the going concern status. You need to write evidence in working paper file around the cash flow forecast or around going concern, or you need to comment on the reporting implication. I see question around going concern as probable. Then the final tip, auditor liability. We know this is an article which is there in section B of the syllabus. We know this is published on the website since very long. We know auditor liability is a topic which I even do in my regular classes in my block 1 of the syllabus. But this article could be a surprise factor. We know examining team do ask knowledge of 6 to 10 marks in the paper. So something out of the auditor liability article could be important. So please ensure you're not ignoring auditor liability as a topic. Other than that, money laundering could make a comeback in March 24 exams. Fraud also seems important. The one in yellows, right? The one in yellows are more important. Skepticism seems important, and opening balances. So the one in yellows are more important. Laws and regulations, they did come in December 23, using the work of others, particularly the component auditor came in December 23. So I'm not giving that much weightage. I have included that in my list, but the one in yellows are more important. So auditor liability is important. Uh, Fraud is important, skepticism is important, money laundering is important, and opening balances are important. These are tips. These are my thought process, right? But one thing, you know, for AAA, March 24 exams, whenever the AAA exams do take place, there is not one paper set, right? Uh, Three papers minimum globally. So when the examining team is setting three papers, we do see students reporting from different part of the world that I got this as question number one. Another student from Pakistan will say, no, I got this as question number one. A student from Mauritius will say, I got this as question number one. The differences. Some might get business risk, some might get audit risk, some might get risk of material misstatement. So ACCA is setting ideally three papers for AAA since last few attempts. And that means there is a chance that one topic comes in with one student, but that same topic is not with the other student. You might get another topic. So a paper in Pakistan could be different, a paper in India could be different, a paper in UAE could be different, a paper in Africa could be different. So that's how it is working in. Same time zones have same paper, right? So ACC has divided them into different time zones. I hope you're sound on clear and that. So on that basis, with multiple papers, the tips have become more difficult, more challenging. Okay, core holds the key. The tips is one thing, but 100% syllabus is what you need at the end of the day. Core holds the key. Now, what comes in front of your screen is not tips, it's the core. Business risk, that's always been the core. Audit risk, risk of material misstatement, that is always a core area. Procedures, that's a core area. Ethical and professional issues, that's a core area. Matters and evidence in working paper file, that is a core area. Review of prospective financial information, couple of questions on that in recent past papers, a core area. Forensic audit is a core area. Due diligence is a core area. Critical appraisal of the report is very favorite with examiner. Communication to those charged with governance, we have seen a lot of emphasis on that in recent papers. And I believe this might continue in the foreseeable future as well. Examining team is giving a lot of focus to number 10 in recent past papers, and this trend might continue. So please ensure, I even emphasized on my day 2 when I was doing the syllabus area D and E on the importance of reading the article around communication to those charged with governance. Number 11, matters, comments, and reporting implication. There is a typical question which comes in audit report that you need to comment on the matters. You need to find the reporting implication of each of the underlying issues. So you know that typical reporting question where there are different situations given to you. And for each situation, you need to comment on the matters and explain what is the impact on the report. Now, these are 11 areas which are not tips. These are not probabilities. These are important things underlying the AAA. Can you ignore them? Can you ignore them? Not at all. But yes, out of the 11, can you see some of them are marked in red? Out of the 11, can you see some of them are marked in red? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 11. That is important. That is important. So number 2 to me looks very important for upcoming exam. Number 3, definitely. Number 4 is definite again. Number 5, methods and evidence could be there. Review of PFI seems important. Number 11, a typical reporting question. But don't underestimate number 10. But at the end of the day, this is core, right? Core means this is something you must have done by now. This is something which makes the 100% paper. These are not tips. So I hope you're getting the message, right? What were tips? These were tips, right? These were tips. But these are not tips, right? These are not tips. These are core areas of the AAA paper. But yes, the ones in the red seems more important. I foresee that there is a chance that you get a question on audit risk and risk of material misstatement this time with no business risk. Because we saw that a lot in the December 23 exams. But still, this is a probability. Is that clear to all of you? Around core areas, around importance of doing the 100% syllabus, and a disclaimer around the key tips. Are you all sound with it? Any questions or anything you would like to ask in? Because that's the only agenda we had for the day 5, to spread the message on the key areas and to ensure that you're all familiar with why students fail in the AAA exam. Okay, so then that is it for the day 5 of this AAA.